Animals are so helpless when in trouble, unless there are heroes nearby, like this one. Right now, we'll show you 30 incredible cases of saving animals, and a little bonus awaits you at the end. This dog had a seizure, so the dog's owner supported the animal with her kindness. The dog is now fine.
He's still up there. Is he still alive?
It's hard to say how long this heron was hanging on its own beak, fighting for its life. But now it's saved thanks to a kind fisherman who managed to free the bird using his fishing rod.
Let's see.
A man saved a monkey from a pack of dogs, but it stopped breathing because of an injury. He swooped in with a heart massage and a mouth-to-mouth. And here's an incredible moment of a kitten being rescued a second before death. Just listen to the cries of this poor dog. It was hungry and scared, but it entrusted its life to caring people who took the dog to a shelter and brought it back to life. And here's another example of placing 100% trust in people. A 60,000-pound humped whale was stranded on the shore, and take a look at the way people united to help it. An eagle found itself in an ice trap 100 feet from the nearest land after a polar vortex. It was very lucky to be noticed by people. They brought the eagle closer to land where it could find solace.
Dog in the car!
And here, a police officer came to a dog's aid when it got stuck in a burning SUV. Take a look at the way it expressed gratitude for its savior. And these guys saw an eagle standing on the side of the road, waiting for someone to stop and give it water. And here's what a true hero looks like. Watch this man risk his own life to get an eagle out of a swamp. Thanks to these people, the baby bird thinks it's being fed by its mom. That's why it's not afraid. People heard cries for help coming from a ditch, only to find a dying puppy with head trauma. The puppy was so weak that its nose kept dropping into water. Thankfully, it was treated, and now the pup is perfectly fine. And these guys are not just railway workers. They are real heroes. They jumped off a moving train to rescue a chamois that was buried under the snow by a different passing train. And here's how they rescued a baby elephant in Zimbabwe after it got stuck in the mud after a long drought. A dog found itself in a water trap and would have drowned if it weren't for the rescue crew. Look at how obedient it is, knowing they are trying to help it. This little guy is still so young, but with a big heart. This tiny puppy had a very slim chance of survival when it was hit by a train. Thankfully, its cries were heard by people who saved its life. And this dolphin swam right up to the divers in the hopes of being freed from a fishing line. Now it's free, but check this out. It's not in any rush to swim away, thanking its savior instead. This poor baby bird was unconscious from dehydration after a severe heat wave, but a person got there just in time. The bird was too weak to drink, but it gradually came to.
its mouth open, it's not gonna close
It's
on me?
not gonna
Want
close.
me to?
A pelican voluntarily came up to people walking on the beach. Turns out it has a triple hook stuck in its beak.
Wait.
Thankfully, they managed to extract it. When people build roads, they never think of the animals. And here are the consequences. This baby moose was entirely covered in asphalt. A rescue team came to its aid to clear off the moose's fur. This person got a baby monkey out from underneath the ruins and returned it to its mom. Just look at her reaction. This kangaroo fell into a canal during high tide. And take a look at how desperately the animal is begging humans for help. Now that the kangaroo is all right, it can run away, but its gaze speaks volumes. On his 21st birthday, the snowboarder decided to take a ride on fresh snow. His plans changed when he came across a horse stuck in the snow. What a day! Took a snowboard ride and rescued a horse that was reunited with its owners 4 days later. This guy heard a desperate cry from a ditch and realized that there's a living being in the bag. Turns out someone was very cruel to a grown cat. Thankfully, this story has a happy ending. That's the condition the puppy was in when people found it. But wait till you see what it looks like today. Beautiful antlers can turn into a big problem, just as it happened to this deer. Thankfully, people didn't leave it in trouble. A cat nearly became a victim of a python, but the fearless locals saved it, and they were really risking their lives.
Нашли какую-то сетку, увидели, скрученную.
These fishermen noticed that a baby whale tangled in a net approached their boat. They freed the poor animal and pulled the netting out of the water. If only we had more people acting like that.
Давай, родной!
This poor elk got so stuck in a snowed-in swamp, it couldn't move at all. When it was freed, it immediately ran to its friend, who waited patiently the whole time. What could this look mean?
Будет жить нормально, все. Давайте, ребята.
This sloth must have confused some cables for tree branches and was in real danger as a result. Risking his own life, this man tried to help the sloth, and it's obediently doing everything required. And this fox cub was loudly crying after getting stuck in some netting. At first, it was very frightened, but then realized that people were there to rescue it. Just take a look at such trust between an animal and a human. Do you think this guy is in search of crude oil? Nope, just rescuing a goat. And here's an incredible rescue of a deer that walked onto the ice and had frostbite on its feet, preventing the animal from getting back to safety. Finally, the saviors managed to free the deer, now faced with the difficult task of warming the animal back up. But the most incredible thing about it is how the deer is not at all afraid of the human. Instead, it is grateful.
Вот он. Ну, тогда завтра пойдем к доктору, ветеринару, укольчики ставить, да?
To pull a cow out of a well, people had to use a huge tractor, and they succeeded too. How could they not? When a dog fell under the ice, it was a matter of minutes before the animal couldn't be rescued due to cold water. With great difficulty, the men managed to get the dog, and it quickly understood what to do. People noticed a deer standing on the side of the road begging for help. Its face was crushed with ice to the point the animal couldn't even open its eyes. When people approached the deer, it didn't even try to run, and that was a good call. Now the deer is safe and sound. A moose got stuck on a railway and people organized an entire rescue mission. In the end, the animal was saved and delivered back to the woods. But it doesn't look like it's in a rush. Almost like it's trying to say thank you. And here's what a removal of the rhinoceros horn looks like to deter poachers who kill these animals for their horns. They are made of keratin, just like human nails, which means they keep growing back. As for the noise, the animal is wearing headphones, so it's not too scared. Can someone explain to me how this cow's head got stuck in the tree? It was definitely very lucky that there was a person nearby. A bear got stuck on a power pole and survived by some miracle, thanks to the fact the help arrived just in time.
All right, little bear. Time to get off this pole.
And this elk came to people with the head of its opponent stuck to its antlers. Unfortunately, the operator was powerless.
If the bucket had filled with water.
And this fearless man jumped into the icy waters to rescue a deer with a bucket on its head. A little while later, his friend came with a boat and they started to act. And finally,
Now you can see.
It was great seeing her run off.
that's all for today. Tell us your story of helping an animal in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.